and welcome back to my video blog. Today I have the honor of presenting and having with me Mr. Greg Terry from Terry Home Inspections.
Thank you, Hal.
Yeah, good to have you, Greg. Greg, we've known each other a long time. You've helped us out a lot. How many years have you been doing this?
We've been in the home inspection business for a little over 22 years now, and as of this point we've done a little bit over 12,000 inspections, all on the Central Coast.
Yeah, that's a lot of inspections. So I would get right to the meat of it here. You know, how does somebody, you know, obviously getting a home inspected is critically important. You don't want to have any surprise in the house. I mean, how does somebody go about picking a good home inspector, you know?
That's a great question, because a lot of people are just throwing darts at the wall when they're trying to choose a home inspector. First off, I would talk to your realtor. Most realtors know a good amount of the inspectors in the area, and they'll be able to vet out any ones that are bad or are unqualified. But a lot of people don't realize is that there's no license for home inspectors in the state of California. So you can have a totally unrelated field and go take an online course for 2 days and call yourself a home inspector. So the best way really is to get to one of the national organizations. The biggest one in our area, and in my opinion the best, is the California Real Estate Inspection Association. Right. They're an organization that certifies inspectors after hundreds of inspections. You have to take a series of written tests and peer reviews, and you can become what's called a certified home inspector. If you go on and you've provided over thousands of inspections and you take even more difficult tests, then you become what's called a master home inspector. And if you can find a master home inspector from Korea, you basically found the cream of the crop.
Okay, got it. And obviously, if there's issues that come up, you have to prove yourself. And I've known you, for the 22 years in the business for sure. So tell me this. I mean, it may be obvious, but what are some of the benefits of actually just having a home inspection? It's rare, but once in a while people go, well, why would I do that? My cousin's a contractor. I'm having a look at the house.
Exactly. And it's a specialized field where you're going through every single part of the home, from foundation to roof to mechanical to electrical to plumbing to fireplaces. Many times we're dealing with homes that are quite older, especially in San Luis Obispo, and so you've got to know the old codes as well as the new codes. So if you got a contractor friend, generally they're going to have a specialization in one field, say carpentry or an electrician, but they're not a heating contractor. So the home inspector is really seasoned in all phases of the construction. And I would encourage anybody when they get to go to home inspection to be at the inspection. That's critical to be there so you could meet with your inspector, have a chance to ask him all the questions that you have. And there's many things that an inspector can add along with the inspections as far as teaching you things about the house as a normal course of the inspection. You'll get so much more out of it if you're there and you're at the inspection.
Now, from a real estate transaction perspective, it's historically in the common. Most inspections are done during escrow. Your buyer makes an offer, it gets accepted.
Correct.
You get called up, you come in, you inspect it, you find some issues with the house, and then oftentimes there might be a surprise to the seller, which we as agents then have to negotiate.
Absolutely, and it's becoming more and more common now for us to do inspections ahead of time for the seller, so if there are any surprises, it's taken care of before you get into escrow. That can really throw a wrench into the whole thing.
Right.
Also, sometimes buyers, when they get the inspection report, will go back to the seller and ask for sometimes a substantial credit. And so if the seller has it done ahead of time, they've got the document and the report to hand to a prospective buyer to say, here's everything we've got, full disclosure, we want a clean offer based on these findings. And it really makes the whole process a lot easier, particularly if you're dealing with a home that's older, like we have down here in downtown San Luis Obispo.
Sure.
I would say most of the time we work for buyers, but it's becoming increasingly common and more popular to do it ahead of time for the seller.
Right. Okay.
It seems to work out pretty good that way.
And I'll just put this in my dealing with you, and the reason we like to use you, Greg, is quite honestly, is if you look at a house and you got someone that doesn't know a lot about construction or whatever, you can look at the electrical panel, you'll say, well, here's a couple of issues with this panel, and rather than having to defer to an electrician, you can go basically, here's your costs, here's the parts, and they can get it quantified in their head, which is really important so people don't panic. They say, oh, it's a $200 problem, not a $2 million or whatever.
You're exactly right. A good inspector will be able to define the problems, set priorities, what's important, what's maybe not as important, what needs to be done to fix or mitigate the situation. And you're right, if it's going to involve a contractor, in almost all cases we can give you a good budget idea. And that makes it tangible and much more understandable, especially to a person with no construction background at all.
Great. Well, Greg, thanks for stopping by.
Sure.
You've been a help to us in the past, and we really appreciate it. What's the best way for people to get a hold of you if they want to talk to you about a home inspection?
You can call us at our office at 805-434-2694, or of course we're on the web too as well at terryhomeinspection.com.
Perfect. Thanks very much. We'll talk to you soon.